our new S.W.E.A.T Society team call every Wednesday night. And I'm excited for it because we have a little different format, which is going to be cool. So I'm Megan Zernicke. I'm your moderator tonight. And yeah, I'm kind of introducing the hosts of the call. And then if you guys have any questions that you type into the chat, I can kind of make sure that the ladies answer them. And yeah, I'm going to let them talk. They're going to share about an event they went to. It's called the GoPro event. It's Eric Worre, and he had a couple guests. Tony Robbins was there. Yeah, so they're just going to share a little bit about their experience, why you should go to events. This is an event completely outside of Beachbody. So that's something that they sought out to do, and something that I encourage everybody to do. For me personally, having little babies, I haven't been able to do anything like that up until, you know, probably coming up soon here. But getting to these events is important, and it's just a different way to grow yourself as a person, as a coach, as a leader. So, all right, Jen and Sarah are going to chat about their experiences and what they got from it. So, all right, go ahead, ladies.
All right. Hey, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes? Yes? Okay, sweet. Okay, so I am going to start and kick off our call, and Sarah and I are going to go back and forth a little bit. But first, my name is Jen Pierce. For those that don't know me, this is so fun, this combined call thing. I don't know. There's so many people's faces that I don't know, and this is really exciting. But I've been a coach for 3.5 years now, so it's been a while. And like Megan said, Sarah and I had an opportunity to go to an event in Vegas called GoPro, and there's a couple other people on this call that were there as well, Nathan for sure. And it was super fun. And so I first wanted to touch on just like the importance of getting to a live event, even if it's a Super Saturday, a coach summit, like if you know some local coaches that are getting together for coffee. It is so different to meet with all of these people, like not just on video, but in person, and really feel everybody's energy. So a little bit about myself. Before I was a Beachbody coach, and I like did all this amazing personal growth, I would never ever go to any event without like a buddy. I would be like, oh, I want to go do that, so I better find somebody to go with me. I never would have gone to anything by myself, let alone fly across the country. I'm from Michigan to Vegas for an event full of network marketers. I'm also an engineer, so going to like this businessy event was like so far out of my comfort zone, it's ridiculous. I had to catch a ride with a local coach to the airport. I roomed with 2 girls that I had never met before. And it was honestly really terrifying. And a lot of me didn't want to go. Like, you know, you get stuck in your comfort zone and you're like, this is scary, I don't want to go do it. But I'm so glad that I did go, because I got to really spend time with a lot of people that I didn't really know before. And the cool thing about these events is everybody is there because they want to get better. And so when you're able to surround yourself with that energy and like it just like brings your energy level up, which is something that we're going to talk about a lot later. So it was just a really great experience. And if you have an opportunity, like I said, to get to any live event, Beachbody related, non-Beachbody related, if it's anything that has to do with this business, go to it. Even if you're scared and even if you sit in the back, you will 100% take something away. Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about why you went and how you ended up getting there?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My internet's been shaky all day. Totally have my kids watching Captain Underpants right now. So hopefully they don't bust in. I'm hiding in my room. I think Megan and you nailed it. I mean, these events are about getting better. It doesn't matter what venue you play a role in with Beachbody or business or your mom or a teacher or dad or fur mama, whatever. It's really about getting better and you just get electrified. So I knew I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to see Tony Robbins. Pitbull, though, was a highlight. He was awesome. And it was really about just feeding off of everybody's energy and getting re-energized yourself. I think we need that. So whether it's Summit, our Beachbody Super Saturdays or Sundays, I've been hosting just mini events, like little coffees at my house with my coaches who are local. When I say I've been hosting, I mean I did it once, but it was awesome. So I want to do it monthly. And then if they can show up, they can show up. So you could even have a little event like that. It doesn't have to be this big grand scheme. The idea is you get together and you feed off of one another. I am a single mom of 3, so it took a lot for me to go. And I think I had like $9 in my business account when I returned, and it was worth it. I'm still feeding off of that event months later. So hopefully what we share with you tonight will energize you. But that is the number one thing they preached about when any network marketing, any business venture you go on, is if they have a live event, you make every effort to get there, even if it's just once. I mean, I don't know if there are coaches on this call who are just kind of dabbling in the business. I would say go once, because this is stuff that I wish I would have had in my early 20s. Even when I wasn't coaching, because it's all about mindset and confidence and vision and clarity and where you just want to go in your life in every avenue. I talk a lot, so that's why Megan's going to keep me on track. Right, Meg? You got me? Okay. Back to you, Jen.
Okay, cool. So one of the big things that we've obviously been talking about, energy, this whole time. So that was one of the biggest highlights for me, at least, was the night that we got to see Tony Robbins. So he spoke for 3 or 4 hours, I think, and it was my first experience hearing him speak and just feeling his energy. And so he shared about I have notes, but he shared about like 4 or 5 like major things about really how to just take yourself to the next level. And the cool thing that I really like about any event that you go to is when you show up at an event, you're like, okay, I needed to hear that. There's always something that you just needed that you didn't know until you hear it, right? So another thing about when I went to this event, in my personal life, we had just as a family kind of a challenging summer, a challenging fall. My business was, is my internet not good?
Yeah, you're a little staticky.
Okay. Let me move a little.
Put your arm out the window.
I know, right? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if I move like to the side of my desk, it's better. Okay, so back to when I went to this event. We had just personally like kind of a not so great summer, not so great fall, and I was really in this period of stress, of really negative swirl. I had actually decided to I stopped working my business for a month. I was like, I can't do this anymore because I'm not serving anyone. And I made that decision to just kind of focus on myself and not even be a Beachbody coach for a month, like literally like 2 weeks before this conference. And I was like, how am I supposed to go to this conference with all these business people? And I'm like such a fake, like I'm not even doing this right now. And I paid for it, of course, and I had a flight, so I was clearly going. But I really didn't know what to expect when I got there at all. And the part that I'm about to share about Tony, I think I just needed it personally. And it wasn't about like you come away with these events and you have 25 like concrete little tricks on how to be a millionaire tomorrow. But you come away with, okay, these are the things that I can do personally to make myself better and to help serve other people and like raise to the next level. So his biggest point was about your energy. So when you are working on your business, or when you're talking with someone, or when you're doing anything, the energy between you and the crowd, or you and the other people, is really what is what drives everything. So if you're in a negative place, if you're fearful, that means you're like in a low energy state. And whether we want to believe it or not, other people can feel that. And I know that's where kind of I was in my business, where, you know, I was kind of in a negative space, and no matter how hard I tried, I know that was kind of going over into my customers and my clients. And so clearly I wasn't making any good progress in my business. So what Tony shared a lot about is just really tying into your emotions and how to raise that energy. When you're fearful, you have low energy. I think I said that. And then your standard for energy is who you spend time with. So one of the things that I've really recognized is when I get into this negative space, and I think we all do this, right? You all get kind of down, and you might kind of go into like this hermit type thing and not hang out with anyone. And even though it's hard, getting yourself to an event like this and me, like, you know, meeting Nathan, spending time with Sarah, like being with those people with that higher energy, it will help raise you so you can go turn around and help raise other people. One of the biggest things that I wrote down from Tony was information without emotions is rarely retained. So I want you guys to really think about that, because we do a lot of work with trying to help people get healthy, right? And if the reason for them doing it is, oh, I want to be X size, or I want to be X weight, we all know that never works. But when we as coaches help people tie it to the emotion of how they are going to feel and how awesome their energy is going to be when they're done, when you tie it to that emotion, it just helps it happen more. And so that was like a huge takeaway from Tony. Sarah, what else am I missing on the energy piece? Because I know you're going to talk about his next piece.
I think you got it. I mean, first of all, he spoke for like, 4 hours?
Yeah.
So we're just touching on two of the main points, but charisma is energy, and everyone has it. Every single one of you on this call has it. You have it available to you. You just need to tap into it. And that was his big thing. Like, if you have a hunger that never ends, you have energy. And if you don't have the energy, you're feeling anxious, fearful, depressed, that's when you surround yourself with people who do have it. So the fact that you're on this call is amazing. Like, I always like to acknowledge that. I mean, because your time is valuable. And the fact that you're here means that you want to commit, to me anyway, you want to commit time and energy to pursue mastery. So mad props to you. And this is the start of it. This is what you do. We try to hit these calls up. And if you're watching the recording, same thing. So that was his big thing, is that the only thing I would add, Jen, you nailed it, is that everyone has that energy available to them, no matter what state you're in. If you're battling hardships, depression, it's really about training yourself to feel good and be in a beautiful state, even when things aren't going your way. And I think that's one of the greatest assets of this business, because I mean, you show up every day, even when you're going. I have a lot of coaches, personally sponsored coaches on this call, and they're going through some hard times, and they're on the call. They're still showing up. They're training themselves to feel good and be in that beautiful state. So imagine the powerhouse you're going to be when things are going beautifully. If you can show up on the bad days, can you imagine what you're capable of when everything's like all the moons have aligned and Like you open your back door and there's a unicorn in your yard and you just like take off on it. It's going to be amazing. So that was the only other thing I would add, or like 3 things.
Cool. Awesome. I have one more quick thing before we switch over to you. But this came from one of the Eric Worre talks. I need to find where I wrote it down. So Eric Worre, he has a book called Go Pro, and if you haven't read it, it's short, it's super fast. It's an interesting read because it comes from a very businessy perspective, and so some of it can feel like a little weird and icky, I think, for us, because we kind of approach this business from a different side. But there's some really great lessons to be learned from a business perspective about really showing up and treating this, like a business. But one of the things that he talked about was the 5 people that you have at your table that are going to help raise your energy level and help you get to where you want to be. And when he first started out, his 5 people, I wrote them down, but I mean, they were like Jim Rohn, like all these crazy, awesome personal development people. He's like, those were my 5 people, and I had never met them. He's like, but I listened to them in my car every single day. And that's how he started to raise his energy level. So it doesn't need to be like you need to go find these 5 amazing people and follow them around, although that would be awesome. But you can really make a difference by just picking out the people that you know of that have podcasts and books you're like, you know what, those are the people that I kind of want to model my life around, and just listen to them. And, next thing you know, we might be all like really awesome, like Eric Worre, and we can invite those 5 people to our own freaking conference. So that's just an easy way you can start raising your energy level, just by listening to the people that you want to be like. So that's all I got.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I am going to raise your energy level. You ready? Let's do it. Now listen, this is going to seem weird, and this is totally off the cuff, and that's kind of how I fly most throughout my day. I'm just spur of the moment. So if you have babies sleeping, who has a baby or kids in bed, you're not going to want to do this. But I'm going to recommend, Sarah's got like the picture monitor. So I'm going to recommend you don't do this, but you're going to have to like mouth it or stand up. So I'll give you a couple options. My kids are not sleeping. I'm going to mute myself for this though. But if you can yell in your house right now, if someone is there, I want you to just like scream at them. I love you so much. You are awesome. And say their name and then be done. And you're going to raise your energy just by doing that. If you can't, because your kids are sleeping, and God knows we don't want to wake any children up, that's bad juju, then stand up and, I don't know, like hop in place 5 times or something. He had us do that several times. Here's why. And if you're ever giving information to people, if you increase their energy, Jen said it already, they're going to retain it. So you're going to do this, and then what I share with you, hopefully you'll retain. This works. I do it with 8-year-olds every single day, and they retain at the end of the day every time I do this. So are you ready? We're going to take like 5 to 10 seconds. You're either going to scream at someone in your house. It's cool if you have a spouse and they're like, what? Or you're going to jump up and do like just 5 hops in place or 10 hops in place, and tell yourself when you're jumping or hopping, it's going to be weird, you guys, but tell yourself, I am rad as F, and I am fabulous for being on this call. Mute yourselves if you're not. Okay, I'm going to yell at my kids. Do it. Go. 10 seconds. They just said, thank you. All right. Oh,
I jumped for you. I jumped quietly.
Yes, thank you. I could see you guys on the screen.
I'm rad as fuck, I'm rad as fuck.
Thank you for saying it. I don't know what I can say on this call and what I can't. So now you just broke that.
I don't see kids in my direct screen. So
I love it. Okay, second mistake, and maybe someone can type this in. But if you are taking notes, write this down. The second mistake people make is expecting shit too quickly. And here's the problem with that. Many of you are nodding your heads, you know this. When you expect it too quickly, people leave. Oh, they start thinking, I'm not good at this. I'm not cut out for this job. I knew I couldn't be a coach. And they start letting fear take over. When really you need a good year to learn, to just learn the business. And I'm guessing you see this with challengers, right? They want, oh, I ate clean today. Should have lost 5 pounds. That's kind of how I am sometimes. This really spoke to me because it's me. I really struggle with patience. In fact, I'm constantly texting Sarah Boldman. She's like bringing me down, telling me to be patient. But that's the second biggest mistake. And write this down too. How you get through this is by getting through what Tony Robbins calls the threshold of control. I can type that. Will you guys tell me, or Sarah or whoever, type it out if I don't make sense? Because sometimes I feel like I'm making sense and it comes out. I understand it, but it's all jacked up to other people. So you got to just tell me if you have questions. So getting through the threshold of control. This is basically tackling on those elites, those people who are elite in their field. And we have an elite coach on here, elite coaches on here. They are rewarded in public for what they practice in private. Tony really hit that home. A lot of the business that takes place, you don't see. I mean, you see these people walking the stage and hitting all these SC points, but you don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that's going into that. Maybe you're doing it, so you can feel that. But committing that time and effort for a good year before you even make a decision about whether or not you're going to be good at something is key. So here's how you get through the threshold of control. So simple, guys. Are you ready for this? Do not collapse when you're given a challenge. That's it. You just don't collapse. You don't crumble. You don't let your brain take over and start protecting you, and this negative self-talk starts to seep in. You don't start focusing on what the negatives and what you believe won't happen anymore. You push through. You push through the doubt. So if you are told no 1,000 times, your brain, you have to train your brain to say, yeah, bring it. Like, let's go. I just got 100 no's. That's awesome. And have fun with it. That's key too. You talked about having fun, because when you're in a state of playfulness, everything seems a little bit easier. Like, I posted the dumbest picture yesterday of me on my business page. I was all tied up in my bands because those bands from 80-Day Obsession keep rolling up on me, and people loved it. And my son was like posing with me, and just I was just having fun. So push through the doubt, and who in here, and I want you to be brave, and I want you to actually comment on this on the side, in the chat. Who in here has the nature and the grit to stay strong? Who's going to break through that threshold? Who's going to stay in the business and be strong because you believe in it? You believe in the products. You believe that we help people, and that alone will keep you here. And focusing on when you have that challenge, that you become obsessed with just overcoming it and believing like, this is just one more hoop I have to jump through. These 10 people said no, but you know what? Thank you, Jesus, because you're going to bring 20 into my life that say yes. And I'm going to help those 20 people. And so it's becoming obsessed about what you want, and focusing on where you want to go, and not letting fear drive you. Many of you have probably heard the race car analogy. I've heard it before, but I heard Tony Robbins say it again. It's like, and he actually drove a race car. I have never done that. So I'm just going to share his words. What's up, buddy? Come on over. When he was, what? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm almost done. So when he was driving this race car, the driver said, don't focus on the wall. Because every time you focus, you got to focus ahead on where you're going, because every time you focus on the wall, where you focus is where you're headed, and you're going to hit the wall. And every single time that Tony Robbins failed, he was focusing on the wall, even though his instructor told him not to. And that's a good analogy. I mean, there's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees that you're going to be a top 10 coach or be elite or reach this goal, or there are no guarantees. But what you can control is your effort. Hey, I'm on a roll here. You're interrupting my flow. What? He's cute, so I'll let him. Yep, go have that. Like, he could have asked me for anything right now and I would have said yes. Okay. So focus on where you want to go. And even though there's no guarantees in life, you can avoid the wall. You can avoid that negativity, and you can think ahead and take actions to get you where you want to go and have that deep-seated belief. And back to what Jen said about energy, you can trigger that energy in minutes. So if you feel like you're going to collapse because you have a challenge, think about your energy level, and you can trigger it in minutes just by getting up and moving, just by looking in the mirror and telling yourself how fabulous you are, just by texting a coach or reaching out to a challenger or moving, which is our job. Just by pushing play, you change your energy. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have. Can I share one more thing? Okay. I know I talked really, really fast there. Sometimes and thank you if you commented. I didn't read them all, but I saw them popping in. Like, you're busting through the threshold of control, right? You're going to overcome these obstacles. Tony Robbins did not say this, but another speaker did, and I loved it. Again, get brave for me and comment in the chat. Who on here has heard negativity from someone else because you are making a lifestyle change? They don't understand the company. They don't understand why you have to be on this time to nutrition. They don't understand the coaching. Oh, here's another invite. There's another selfie, or whatever it is. Maybe they're close to you. Yeah, a lot of you. Strength in numbers. Thank you for commenting all the damn time. That's where those 5 people who you surround yourself with matters. Get picky about that. But another speaker said this, and I loved it, and I wanted to leave you with this because I hear that a lot. You know, people are constantly battling the idea of what others think of them. And Tiffany Malott is her name. She said, your growth is between you and your creator. It's no one else's business. And then I'll just add my little spiel here. Your dream was given to you. Your vision was given to you. Your neighbor next door has nothing to do with it. Your coworker has nothing to do with it. I mean, I have family members. They're not going to get my dream. I mean, when I'm living the life I have designed and created, and they're not, it's not going to matter in 5 years or however long it takes me. So put your blinders on. Put them on, honey, because you've got shit to do. And you're about to emerge. Like, I think 2018, I keep saying it, is the year of the butterfly. It's time for you to emerge. It's time for you to break through that. And when in doubt, when you hear that negativity, just continue to speak life into others. You are a light for a lot of people that you don't even know. You don't even know it. So stand firm. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah. You guys, can you think about, so I got to room with Sarah at this event, and I didn't even know her before then. So can you imagine if I had chickened out and not gone and not get to experience this? Like, you got to get to these events, because you just never know who you get to meet, who you get to hang out with, who's going to inspire you. So
let's be honest. I was in my pajamas in Vegas.
Well,
at like 10 o'clock at night.
The best part
was going out.
So part of this, so there were a lot of businessy people there, and they said that it was going to be like business casual. And I'm like, I don't own that. And so I show up and I have like my nice black leggings and sweaters. And then Sarah shows up with like the same outfit. And I was like, oh, thank God we're together in this. But it was so fun, you guys. It was so fun.
Yay. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing. I feel like too, if you talk about the energy of getting to these events and surrounding yourself with those 5 people that are going to raise your energy and lift you up. Like the baby step for you guys is showing up on these calls and being here with us. And, I always think, never take the advice of somebody who you wouldn't want to trade places with. If somebody doesn't understand this business or understand what you're doing or how you're trying to help people, reach out to one of us and we will lift you up and we will show you that you're in the right place. You really are, and you're meant to be here, and you made that step of getting on the call and showing up for yourself and for your business. And so, yeah, I think that's so important that you're making that step to join us. So anybody else have anything they want to add? Going to Shanti's. Yes, Julie Greenberg, right? Are we talking to Julie Greenberg, I think? In Arizona, was that Sean's event? Yeah, it's hard to go to these events, and I think the same thing with Summit. It's intimidating if you've never met anybody, but I promise you, like, we're the same as we are here. And Nathan went to GoPro. Sure. Nathan, you want to share something? Sarah just called you out. Yes, you, Nathan. Yeah. Hi.
No, I volunteered myself.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, just to hit back on Tony Robbins again really quick, the whole thing about raising your energy, I mean, literally this is one of his biggest points as far as changing your state, like your mental state. And that was like focusing on changing your physiology. That's why he had us up and jumping around and going freaking bananas, like rave type of going crazy. It's impossible to describe without having been there, but it's because so much of what we do, specifically what we do, is easier when you're in a higher energy state. And I know Sarah mentioned it as far as like things being easier in a state of playfulness, but like specifically, I noted in a state of playfulness, recruiting is easy. Like I literally tonight, so we're all doing 80-day obsession, and well, most people are. And Autumn's saying you shouldn't have enough energy to do another workout. Well, I did another workout when I got home from work because I needed to raise my game because I had a lot of business work to do tonight, and it was not happening in the state that I was in. I don't want to be inviting. There's a lot of things going up in our downline. I don't want to be in a low energy state when I'm inviting and reaching out to people. I want to be up here, and changing your physiology is one way you do that, and changing your focus is the other way, is the big other thing. The other point I wanted to mention, one of my bigger takeaways from Eric Worre was, this is something that I think about like on an almost daily basis since this event back in November, is he kind of broke it down as far as what your time is worth if you want to earn $1 million in a year. And it basically comes down to, you need to make $500 an hour. And obviously we're not necessarily all going to be doing that, but the idea is to treat your time like it's that valuable. So don't get caught up in the minutia. Don't get sucked away into things that are drawing you away from where your focus should be, and treat your time as if it's worth $500 an hour. And that's kind of like, that's one of the things that kind of like gets me back on track because I'm a huge procrastinator, like terribly. And it's like, that's one thing that kind of pulls me back on track to say, okay, is what you're doing worth $500 an hour? No, then change what you're doing. Make your time worth it. You only have so many hours in a day. It's the one currency that you can't get back. So make it worth more. So those are my main things.
Cool. No, I love that. And it's true. I think when I was jumping up and down because I have little kids, but just doing that raises your energy and gets you excited to be here and excited to show up for your business. So maybe I need to jump up and down before I start working and be like, I'm red. I like that, Sarah. I'll totally steal that. Yeah, so cool. Thank you guys for sharing. And yeah, each week it's going to be a different leader and a different host. I'm not going to be your host every night. And we're just going to, share different topics on things that are going on in our business, things that are working and stuff. So yeah, every single week at 8:30 Eastern, and look forward to seeing you guys next week. So thanks, guys, and we'll post the recording too so you can share. So, all right, have a good night. Talk to you
Thank
guys
you
later.
guys. You were awesome.